Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and got a good one for you today. In the tip of the harbor between Corona del Mar on one side and Newport Beach on the other side. Just watching all the boats come in, and thought I'd come out here and shoot a video for you guys today because I had something sent to me that's absolutely wild. Oh, they got seals out there too. You can hear those. You've heard about the IRS hiring, 87,000 agents and spending all this money. Well, I just found something else out that's absolutely disturbing, and that is that they are hiring private firms to come collect our money. Okay? Absolutely unbelievable. So before I get into it, please take a second, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the email list, and if you're part of the email list, check your spam filter because one just went out. Also today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold. Now, this is crazy. Think about this. There is a thing called asset forfeiture. If you are accused of a crime and they think you've done something illegal, they can seize your assets. And the problem with this is that you don't even have to be charged with a crime. You just have to be looking like you've done something illegal. And what the federal government has done, the Department of Justice, is they've just spent $6 billion hiring these private firms to come after us and to seize assets. Now, between 2000 and 2019, they collected almost $46 billion from this. And the money is split from the federal government and the local municipalities that arrest this person or accuse this person of a crime. The problem with this is that you don't even have to be charged with a crime for them to do this. And this is the worst thing about this. Read this article below because it's absolutely unbelievable let me get a better angle for you so you can see. It's absolutely unbelievable, guys. And the problem with this is that you've heard about this in the past. Guy has a business, the business goes down, he wasn't paying his taxes, and they seize everything. So the guy has 200 Bitcoin. Problem with it, well, sometimes they do this and the Bitcoin's worth this much, okay? Then you go out and it's worth $30,000 of Bitcoin. So then it's worth real money at that point. One man, a few years back, sued the federal government because he was never accused of a crime. And they sold his Bitcoin for pennies on the dollar, and it had gone up 500 times. So he said, wait a second, this isn't fair. I want this back, but I want the current value because, for you to give me back, $50,000 is ridiculous because now it's worth, several $1 million. So there's that. The other thing, to give you an idea, was there was a private vault that people recommend that you put your money into. I've had people send these places to me in the past. And the idea with the private vaults is that they have security, you drive there, they walk in, they check everything out, they let you in, and you basically have your own private safety deposit box. Well, there was a woman that got nailed, and she got caught up in this, where these private boxes were then raided by the federal government, and they seized everybody's boxes to $86 million. So the only problem was this woman's nest egg, this 58-year-old woman's nest egg. And she said, wait a second, this isn't fair. I just was saving money, and this is where I was told to put it because banks weren't safe. So she never got her money back, okay? And she was never accused of a crime. But the problem was the place that she put her money in, they paid a fine for money laundering. So clearly something was done. There's a man named Dan Libens who runs a nonprofit law firm. And the nonprofit law firm is it's the National Society Against Government Forfeiture. And this man is trying to say, hey, this is illegal. This is wrong. People are losing their life savings. People are losing their homes. People are losing assets. They're seizing boats. You can go check this stuff out, guys. You can go buy stuff online right now. You can go to governmentauctions.gov.god. There's different forfeiture and different sites that you can go to, and you can look at this. But these people, some of them have never been accused of a crime. And the problem with it is, let's say that they get through it and they're found to be not guilty, stuff's gone. And it's very difficult for these people to get back any asset that they had. So Just another thing that they're doing to come after us. And this is crazy because when you read this, it's like, I understand the drug dealers. I understand Tony Montana's, they go after him and they're going to seize him and you're going to do 30 years and all that stuff that they do. But the point of this is that there's people that were just, caught up in this stuff. And there was a problem with this in California a few years back. Was if you were accused of a crime, it was automatic forfeiture. Like if you were selling drugs out of your car, it was automatic forfeiture. Now, here's the thing. Some guy runs into an old buddy in high school. Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to walk home. No, you need a ride? I can give you a ride home. Drives the guy home. And as he drives the guy home, the one guy says, oh, pull over here to this corner. Oh, do you know this guy? Pulls over to the corner, and the guy's going to buy drugs, not knowing the guy that was giving him a ride was helping him out. It was a police sting. So the guy says, what's going on here? They take the guy's brand new car. Not only did they take the car, but the guy had to continue to make payments while it was getting worked out for a vehicle he didn't have, lost his job. Absolute disaster. Okay? So, it's crazy. But the idea of these 87,000 agents that everybody says, oh, don't worry, that's kind of toned down. No, it hasn't. It hasn't toned down at all. That's what this is right now. So, get a better shot of the boats. But this is a beautiful spot. This is Corona Del Mar Beach right here. You've got the Wedge, the surfing spot on the other side of that jetty across the water. You've got the boats that come in and out of Newport Harbor over here. Just a beautiful spot. But, guys, just another thing that they're doing to come after us. But they don't have to accuse you of a crime. And the worst thing about this, that where this Mr. Libens is coming out, is he's saying, wait a second, they've hired all these private firms and they're motivated to come after you. So if you've been accused of a crime, what they start doing is asset searches. Let's see what this guy's got. Oh, Tony's got this. Tony's got a boat. Let's go after the boat. And they start seizing things without the person being charged with the crime, without a judgment, going after people. Absolutely crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. And you're going to see more and more stuff like this. Because here's the thing. When economies turn south and you have less areas of sales tax, they start to raise, ways. How can we get tax revenue? How can we keep the city going? And it's funny. I talked about WeWork the other day, about how, listen, they're precarious and they may not make it financially. And one guy wrote me and said, listen, Dan, I'm really glad I didn't short that stock after your recommendation. I said, what are you talking? I've never told you guys to short a stock. That's one thing. And number two, I think WeWork's in horrible shape. And they got some positive news that came out and the stock shot up. But what's funny is today, one day later, you get more news where it's saying, listen, this company's in such a difficult position right now. Bankruptcy looks imminent. So believe what you want, short what you want, do what you want, but make your own decisions on this stuff. But if you think that place is going to make it, if you think that the San Francisco location is going to do well, who's going to rent an office in San Francisco right now? Seriously. Who's out there looking for office space in San Francisco? Come on, Joan, let's get robbed. It's insane, guys. Absolutely upside down. So share your thoughts on all this stuff. Let me know what you're thinking about this. But have you heard about this? Read this article. It's absolutely fascinating. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. The Fed and Jerome Powell just raised interest rates for the 11th time. The Hill just wrote that this could be the thing that starts the recession. Okay? Whatever it's going to be that's going to finally let people admit that there's a financial downturn, whatever it is, you have to do one thing, and that's protect yourself right now. Take a look at an IRA or 401k that's backed by physical metals. Call the good people at Patriot Gold today. Their number is 888-330-1431. Let them know that Dan from iAllegedly sent you. And also, guys, take a look at this. Physical metals have always stood the test of time. When you have an economic downturn that everybody believes that's going to happen eventually, you have to protect yourself with metals. That's been the best thing for all of us. Take a look at it today. Contact them before metals shoot up. All these experts have talked about getting into a commodity super cycle. You need to protect yourself. Call them today, 888-330-1431. or use the link below to contact Patriot Gold. They're #1 rated for 7 years in a row, best in class service with consumer affairs. Take advantage of it today before it's too late. Contact Patriot Gold. Couple things that are insane right now. We get notified that inflation is up 3.2%. Oh, but hey guys, it's not nearly as bad as it was supposed to be. Don't worry about it. This is just the beginning and everything's bright. I want you to read the comments, and I want everybody from around the globe to tell us how expensive everything is, how bad food inflation is, how bad it is for fuel, how bad your insurance is, your taxes, everything in your life has gone through the flipping roof right now. But we're supposed to believe that everything is great, and it's not. It's just not. Now, another thing that's absolutely amazing is that I have talked about this. I hate those dormitory style 5-floor units where they build these condos and they look like a prison. They look like a dormitory, and they're building these places. The only problem with it, in this community, those can go for $800-900 grand for those boxes. And oh, you want to have a pet? Okay, the pet's going to live inside with you and never, have a backyard or anything like that. The city of Newport Beach just did something that is unbelievable, where they took a swath of land, 145 acres, and I'm like, wow, where's there 145 acres in Newport Beach that's unmolested? No, they took a commercial area and they rezoned it to where it can be 50% occupancy for houses near the airport. So you're going to have all these apartments built over there between Jamboree and Bristol and all these areas that everybody knows about, that's right near the airport, that is loaded with commercial industrial warehouses. That most likely are probably pretty vacant right now because the world is coming to an end when it comes to business, and it becomes when it comes to renting anything out there, any commercial space. So what are they going to do? Rip that place down and turn half of them into apartments. They just took an area in the city of Irvine, on the border of Tustin, Irvine, where they took the shopping center, the Tustin Marketplace. Across the street, it's called the Irvine Marketplace. The Barnes & Noble that was there forever, these clothing stores, these different Steinmart, things like that. Nah, get rid of those. All done. What are they going to do? Rip them down and put apartments there. So you're going to have people living in an apartment in a shopping center. Okay? So this is the shape of things to come, guys, but this is the desperation of this. But it will not be low income. That's the worst thing about this, is that the Newport Beach thing, they were talking about how this is going to help low income people. How? By having $4,000 a month rentals? I mean, come on, that's not going to help anybody. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. This is just the beginning of the shenanigans with this. But what you're seeing is that there's all these different stories right now about real estate. There's all these different stories about the really high-end properties are still moving. Josh Altman just sold a $44 million house in Newport Beach. Okay, and he's feuding with another agent because the other agent was, they're calling each other names back and forth, but Josh is the man. Okay, so anytime he wants to come on iAllegedly, he's more than welcome to. But guys, come on, it's nuts. The super rich, the people on that hill, okay? All those houses, okay? We've walked by them a bunch of times, guys. You got $25, $30 million houses over there. Those people aren't hurting for anything. Think they're worried about their electricity bill over there? No, not at all, guys. Hey, my house is only worth $25 million instead of $30 million, damn. What a travesty. What a travesty, you're right, okay? If they were house poor, yeah, they're not. It's third and fourth houses for people, super wealthy. Warren Buffett's got a house up the street or down the street in Laguna. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. But it's getting frustrating right now. It's kind of getting heated, if you know what I mean. We were talking about inflation earlier, and one thing that I get floored with is globally people send me stuff. The Financial Times out of India just was talking about how bad inflation is for food in India, and they're trying to say that they want to bring inflation back down to 5.3%, and it's not even close. It's not going to happen. If you ask anybody from India in the comments, or anybody that lives there, anybody that has a business there, inflation is out of control there, just like it is in the UK, just like it is in Canada. Had dinner with my Canadian friends the other night, and it's just out of control, guys. Out of control. And here's the one thing that floored me that I never knew about Canada. Let me tell you this. You know how they have free health care? Okay, hold the phone. Except for your prescriptions. That's not included. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so the prescriptions are not included. Now, back to India. The idea with this is that so many people are hurting globally when it comes to food inflation, and you guys haven't seen anything yet when it comes to inflation. When you start to look at these numbers and you start to look at everything that they've talked about over the course of the last 6 months, we're going to see food inflation go through the roof right now. Now, this story that was kind of sent to me is kind of funny because a woman had a gold belt, 22 karat gold belt. She had diamonds on it, and it was stolen from her house. And the insurance company said, listen, certain incidentals are only going to be insured to $25,000. She's like, wait a second. This is worth $156,000 because I paid that for it. No, we're only going to give you 25 grand for it. So what you're going to see is more things like this where they don't care what you think it's worth. They're going to tell you what it's worth. And they told this woman, Chubb Insurance, which I always get a kick out of that name, Chubb Insurance, told her it was only worth $25,000. Read your policy. We're not going to be paying this stuff anymore. And we're very curt, very short with her, but that's the future for this. Now, something that I did not know, and Yvonne sent me this, and it was a story out from the 1900s. Do you know that in the 1900s, the turn of the century, 30% of the cars were electric? You could basically charge an electric vehicle and go 80 to 100 miles with it. And 30% of the cars were electric. And then Henry Ford came about and completely revolutionized the industry. But electric cars back then, look at the article because it's fascinating, sold for $2,125. And when we had the stock market crash of 1929, there were hundreds of car manufacturers at that time. And the problem with it was when it comes to electric vehicles, 30% of them in the early 1900s were electric. That's crazy, guys. Who knew that? I didn't know it. Share your thoughts on this. I had something sent to me from Tom, who talked about how he got his finances completely in order and paid his house off. Congratulations to you, Tom. Now, here's the only problem is his insurance company, the Hartford, they want to come and inspect the house, do a physical inspection. Guys, I spoke to 2 agents about this, and the problem with this is that they are going to most likely start denying people's coverage when you deny it, or they find out the way you live. You got all this stuff stacked up here. Get rid of these documents by the windows. Do this, do that. Cut the shrubberies back. That's a problem. Now, most people don't live like they're selling their house. That's what the vision of an insurance company is. They think that we all live with a pristine house. I'm a bachelor, guys. Work till 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? No. So Tom has to make a decision, and the decision is real clear. Either you let these people in. I would find out how invasive is this going to be. How long are you going to be here? Listen, time is very valuable. And again, with me, hey, can we swing by? No, you can't swing by. Set an appointment. You better be on time. So the shape of things to come, how they're going to shut things off, is things like this. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys, because this is maddening right now, to say the least. Here's a few stories about the economy that are crazy. First one, Amazon. Did you guys know Amazon made its own clothes? I never knew that. It's a great article below about how they have private label clothing, and they're going to close 6 of the manufacturers because people aren't buying clothes like they used to. And there's a huge run-up in thrift stores and secondhand clothing stores, and you're going to see more and more of those. This is the rock area that leads to Little Corona. You can climb over this rock. It looks like the moon, basically, and you can climb over this. But rents in Manhattan, guys, have just hit an average of $6,000. So is your rent high? Is it $6 grand? That's what it is in Manhattan right now, guys. $6,000. Every now and then, do you hear about a law and you go, that's not a law already? I thought that was a law. Well, guess what, guys? The Department of Justice wants to have a new law with real estate sales reporting, where rich people have a loophole that you don't have to know who they are when they buy an expensive piece of real estate. For example, the oligarch from Russia buys something. The Chinese national buys a very expensive piece of property and gets to keep his name out of any, financial documents. How is that legal? Guess what, guys? There's finally going to be a law that's going to make that to where they have to report it to the Department of Justice and to different agencies. So you're going to have to find out who owns these properties. Just because you're rich, you don't get to become anonymous. So again, did you guys know that? I mean, think about this. All you hear about for if you make a little bit of money, hey, listen, you need to work on assets and having a trust and making sure that your identity is private. And then these guys just go buy a house and just, listen, I don't want anybody to know about it. So I want my name to appear on nothing. So it's going to be, ABC Corporation, and that's it. And they get to do that. And now they're trying to say, no, that's enough. Now, in Ireland, okay, there were 800 police officers that had their identity stolen. And the police department's incredibly embarrassed, but they're also, the police officers are worried because guess what got stolen, guys? Their home address, where these guys live, their phone numbers, personal information. Who's your wife? You know what I mean? Because it's employment forms that got stolen. So it's too much, guys, too much. But again, get a VPN, guys. We talked about this yesterday. Take a look at the VPN link below too, because it's amazing. And everybody needs to have one of those. So let me know what you're thinking about this. I'm going to finish this video with this final story. And this was crazy. This was out of the New York Post. A man went to Italy and wanted to have a vegan sandwich and said it was delicious. And hey, I'm going to split it with my friend. So they charged him €2 for cutting the sandwich in half. Not a split charge, but hey, we had to do extra work. If there's anything extra on your order, you're going to pay for it here at our restaurant. So that's the most insane thing I've ever heard of in my life. I just want to show you guys this picnic area by the beach. It's kind of cool. It's always, desolate and empty, and you can come out here. Isn't that crazy though? So €2, $2.20 to cut the sandwich in half because we had to use a knife and it was extra. Okay. When does it end, guys? When do you sit there and say, nah, I'm not paying this. I'm done. Finished with this stuff. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join the email list. If you want to send anything to me, hello@iallegedly.com. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.